What we're going to take a look at here is graphing a piecewise function. So this is the same function that we worked with in the last video for evaluating the piecewise function. We're given the function 2x plus 1 if our x values are less than 1, and the function is equal to negative x plus 4 if our x values are greater than or equal to 1. So what we want to do here is look at these two lines and kind of graph them separately. We want to go through and graph the line 2x plus 1 in its entirety for the first round. So I'll go through. My y-intercept there would be 1. I would plot that point. My slope is 2, so I'll be going up 2 to the right 1, up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1. And I would kind of continue that trend in both directions and go through and sketch my line, going forever in both directions. Now, where the piecewise part of it is going to come in. This is only true when x is less than 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to x equals 1, which is right here, and go up to the value of the function I have at x equals 1. What that tells me is everything to the right of this needs to be erased. So I'm going to actually go through and erase that. I'll erase that piece because that is not included. We're talking about values when x is less than 1. At the value of 1, we put an open circle because at x equals 1, it's not going to equal this. Alright, it's going to be a part of the function negative x plus 4, so we're not positive if it's going to be at this value. It could be something down here. So what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll draw that now in marker. This represents the first part of our piecewise function, right here, first part. Now we're going to go through and graph the second half. We're going to graph negative x plus 4, so my y-intercept is 4. Go ahead, graph that. My slope is negative 1, so I will go down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. Now I'll go through and the same thing as before, sketch that line going in both directions. Now I could already tell right here this is not a function because this wouldn't pass the vertical line test over here either. So what I have to look at is my domain. We're talking about that's when x is greater than or equal to 1. So I go to 1. Right here, x values are greater than or equal to 1 to the right. So I would erase the piece of the function, everything to the left, where x is not greater than or equal to 1. Remember, we're talking about x here. It does not matter what y equals. It matters where x is. So these x values are not greater than 1. So I would go through and erase those. Now, what it tells me, at x equals 1, it ends up equaling 3. So what I can do, really fill in the circle there. It's not always going to end up being that way. This just ends up being one of those problems where it does. But I'll go through with my marker, draw this, that would be filled in, and that's what the function would look like graphed. Because we would have 2x plus 1 when our x values were less than or equal to 1, which makes sense here. And then when our x values are greater than 1, we use the function negative x plus 4.